Who's that? Where are you? We're on Who Do You Think You Are? Episode 24. 6 months. 6 months, baby.
Just ride the wave.
Hold me, baby.
Come here, Nick.
Why did the Titanic sink?
6 months.
6 months. 6 month anniversary. What is this? Fist pound high five.
Yeah, fist pound high five.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. This week's kind of been long.
This has been a fucking terrible week.
Terrible? Why terrible? I just said long.
Man, terrible week. There was like at one point in the week where I was trying to be like humorous with myself about it and just being like, when it rains, I kept on telling myself, like, when it rains, it pours. Because there's like literally everything.
Back to the good old cliches.
Fuck, dude, I just, and I was really trying to separate myself from it and be like, you know, what's the world trying to teach me? Why are they, you know, what's the lesson here? Is there a lesson, or just trying to stay present amongst it because whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and you just have to realize that, you know? But it's still just, fuck, dude, long. I'm so happy that
it's the weekend.
Yeah, and we're all here together. And back in the studio, the Who Do You Think You Are podcast.
Woo-woo!
My sister. My
Jen
second favorite sister.
That's so offensive.
Why? You're against tough competition.
I know, she's perfect.
At least he's being honest.
Yes.
Honesty is my best policy.
I'm the 5th favorite in the family, for
the
sure.
5th favorite?
Are you the 5th member of the family?
Yes.
Who gets
Are you like Meg on Family Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That was such a funny character, actually. That's
me.
What do you call that?
She's like, it's not funny, guys.
Yeah.
It's really relatable.
Can we just stop talking about this, please?
Oh man, what a fucking week it's been outside of my own personal bubble into the world of chaos and fucking bullshit. I mean,
the world that's on fire
that we live in. Yeah, we can start there. The world is literally still on fire. The California fire.
So sad.
81 people dead now, and 900 people missing.
900.
Is that crazy?
I didn't know it was that many.
Has there been a fire like that in the history, or has that been the worst?
I think that's the worst one in recorded history, at least.
I mean, we're experts, so we should definitely
Yeah.
But fuck, I guess rain's supposedly coming their way soon.
Yeah, but didn't it say that could be harmful for it too? That like
oh really?
Yeah, because the winds or some shit like that.
Yeah, and mudslides.
Ooh.
Yeah.
With all of the debris from the fires, then if rain comes, that could be even more detrimental.
That's true.
So.
And it's funny, in like the conspiracy world, a lot of people are kind of like throwing it out there. It's like, well, it's, and I think we even brought it up, like how houses are burning down and then trees around them are still staying up. And that, actually, it's pretty simple science that because trees are a living thing, they have water and they breathe and they retain moisture.
Yeah, it's just
But so
dry wood. It's
really really quick.
Isn't that what Trump
Google search to find out? But it's fun to watch 20-minute videos about why the forest isn't burning.
He loves conspiracies.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, he
dude.
Does. I know. He gets into them.
Yeah. Well,
does he like chat your ear off all the time?
Yeah. And I even like have memories from when we were kids. We would like watch conspiracy theories when I was like really young, and he was in his like early 20s.
Just like glued to the TV.
And I'm like, what is this?
I was like, put on Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Put on some comfort, man.
One of the other theories behind like the fire, or I guess like, so they would say that how the government could have done it would be these things called direct energy weapons.
DEWs.
Have you ever seen that shit before?
Yeah, it's like a fucking
Fuck,
laser.
dude. It's
like from
crazy.
Star Wars.
I was watching YouTube videos of it this morning. It's like you just see nothing, and all of a sudden it's like laser, like literally this laser beam
this
comes
beam, and just obliterates.
It's scary. And then I was reading this article. It's like we're moving into the age of like, you know, modern like solar energy weapons or something like that, which is the big thing with like Space Force. That's nice. With like Space Force is having those satellites. That's like our most protected asset, really, because if somebody fucks that up, like mapping goes down, internet goes down, everything goes down, and our like, you know, our heat wave missiles or lasers don't work. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Scary.
It's so crazy how just like the weapons that we know of or only know a little bit of, because they're only sitting on these small tokens and like kind of showed us little pieces of it. Like what they can actually do is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I bet they have fucking some shit stored that
I know.
I want to know.
It's
literally terrifying.
Dude, it's terrifying.
That's why we don't know anything.
Oh.
Yeah, what if we did know?
Well, that's, I don't know. It's interesting, I guess.
It's probably for the best that we don't.
And then we talked a little bit about, I mean, more into the government with like secrets and things like that. And we were talking about journalists last week, about like the crazy number of journalists that die every year. It's insane. Right. And then about, you know, it's not only just in America, like it's more worldwide because, you know, that their governments don't even let some of their citizens speak or whatever. But we're like, we kind of asked, like, you think America is above that? And we're like, no, I don't think at all, because we talk about Michael Hastings' death, which is a crazy, crazy fucking death. And then on the news just the other day, you see that the CIA found out that the Crown Prince ordered the death of the journalist, the American journalist. And then the next day,
for Wall Street, right? Or no, what was he?
I'm not sure who he was working for. All I know is that he was sticking his nose where it don't belong.
Was he? Or was he?
I mean, well, in the Saudi Arabia government, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea of free press, so it should be a viable, respected job entity, but it's just...
Yeah, well, I mean, but then, I mean, when you're going overseas, you're stepping on difficult territory, but you should at least think that the government here is there to protect you or try to, like, be like... not making deals with you because it's like Trump tweeted right after that. He's like, oil prices lower, great, like a big tax cut for America and the world. Enjoy. And like just waving over the fact that they killed a journalist, which shouldn't be okay.
As we fly him back over in suitcases.
But he's the one that attacks the media. This attack on the media, I mean, that's always been a thing, but it's just heightened in the last 2 years. I mean, the idea of fake news...
Yeah.
I mean, even in my world, I see that people do not know how to find reliable sources, and they do not, even credible sources, they do not deem credible because everything has a bias. Everything is fake.
Right.
So these people who really do risk their lives, they go across the world, are in the midst of wars and famine and terror, risking their lives to bring us back they see.
Yeah.
And yet we belittle that and kind of turn a close eye to what happened.
Well, it's scary too, because even what you were just saying, like I don't know what publication he even worked for. He was probably killed for a reason because he was exposing something that either Saudi Arabia and or America didn't want to get out. Because what's the fuck's going on over there anyways? Like bombing Yemen, bombing hospitals, school buses, like. They're killing innocent people. It's genocide.
It's a dictatorship.
And, you know, in Iraq or other places, we go fight wars because they're doing inhumane things to their population. But there, why? Like, you know, follow that money. It's because for oil, you have to transfer your money to the American dollar in order to sell gas.
Even though America...
Or oil, sorry.
Yeah, even though the U.S. just became number one in oil, like producing oil.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is fucking ridiculous. Like, why are we going elsewhere?
Well, it's also crazy about oil. It's like, it's so stupid that we're even still functioning on using oil as a resource when we have Earth, Wind, and Fire, baby, that can help control, that can actually do it. Oh my God, it's crazy, dude.
Fake news.
But Saudi's our friend.
Yeah, well, they're...
Every president's tried to maintain a relationship with them because...
Weird. Even Obama. All the presidents. Every one of them. It's
what assholes.
No, it's just crazy the things that we allow.
Haven't the Saudi prince or whatever, hasn't his family been in rule for like over...
I have no idea.
It's like over, I think I want to say like 100 years or something. I may be wrong, but you know, we're all experts here. It's just, it's ridiculous that, I don't know, in a modern day society, there's still a king or, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, England's doing
but
it.
They're not super modern in Saudi.
No.
Men and women still eat in different parts of the restaurant in Saudi.
They're trying to modernize it. He just actually passed. The Saudi prince just actually passed for women to be able to drive. Yeah, and so. That's just like just because he does that, like people living there, like they forget all the bad shit they're doing, or like he's doing in Yemen and all that.
And they kind of pull the wool over our eyes.
It's like it's going on everywhere. It's not just the United States. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Well, even in the United States, though, there is a bloodline that runs so high through like high power, high society,
true,
high Hollywood, everything. It's all like there's a bloodline a lot of the time too, which is pretty insane. And if it's not a bloodline, it's like these skull and bone groups or Masonry families that kind of push into that. Woo!
So if we go missing, folks.
Oh, we're going missing. If I go missing, I fucking did my job. Thanksgiving's tomorrow.
Woo woo!
Bless.
What you thankful for?
Everything.
Yeah, buddy.
Everything. My house is still standing.
Yeah? Not on fire?
Not on fire.
Okay.
I got shoes on my feet, but don't call me a shoe feet.
Okay.
You know?
Shoe feet.
Remember that?
You got him. Okay, that was happy for a second, so let's switch right back.
Yeah, well, what do we do? That feels too uncomfortable.
So I was
thinking,
thinking,
go back to murder.
So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for the segue. So I was thinking Thanksgiving. Great.
Oh.
1621. First harvest. The pill... We'll get you
cable
plugged back right in there.
Sorry, folks. Some technical
difficulties. Can we need a little hand over there?
Can we get a woo?
I don't want you to miss some of this.
Oh, bro,
I got some facts, bro.
I'm good.
So 1621, the first, what was it called? We got sound difficulties over there?
Yeah, we're good.
Are you good?
Yep, sorry.
Oh, wow.
1621. Tell me about it.
1621.
What happened in 16?
The first harvest. The Pilgrims, the Native Americans breaking bread together. Maybe even, a little bit of love making, some
a little bit of
interracial shit going down in 1621.
That's how we learned
kinky.
it. We were getting along. We were, it was good.
Exploring.
The first Thanksgiving. But it wasn't until like the 1830s actually that they actually called it Thanksgiving or whatever. But I was like, what's the dark side of Thanksgiving? Because a lot, right? And then you think about Christopher Columbus Day. Great man. Boy Scout, right?
What a fucking asshole, huh?
Yeah,
really. Right, but that's slowly,
what's coming to light?
Yeah, what are they calling it in certain city? You got it already.
Indigenous people. Day.
Yeah, so, which is great. So, can you see that happening with Thanksgiving? It was like, what's the dark side of Thanksgiving?
I really like Thanksgiving.
No, I love it.
For what, how I celebrate, right? Like, Thanksgiving for me is just like food, family,
right?
Blessed. And as a kid, you see the Pilgrims and Native Americans eating together in harmony and peace, and you think, wow, that's just fantastic.
Right.
But in retrospect,
there's no evidence that they even actually ate together. Yeah. And so it's like,
it's those pictures are fake?
Yeah, right.
I think
How did I do that?
It's a cover up. I mean, really, at the end of the day, we, murdered half of them and sent them to the shittiest parts of real estate in the United States.
Smallpox blanket.
Yeah, and
the
then
list was the shit.
And then we were like, oh, well, we're thankful for this land
and for teaching us how to crop and make harvest.
Right.
How to survive
on this land, and then
if you cross this line now. We get to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's so crazy. But I agree with you. I love Thanksgiving too for that same reason. Where it's like you don't see it as this dark, or you just see it as it's like almost Christmas too. It's like you don't even see it as like Jesus' birthday, because that wasn't even Jesus' birthday.
It wasn't? Fuck, man, my whole life is a lie.
Why would we say Merry Christmas, Jesus? I stumbled across this book I really want to read, and it's called Lies My Teacher Told Me, Everything Your American History Textbook Got Wrong.
That's interesting.
That's a good one.
Because it is it's a common thread, and it's like, who's writing this? And as I see how, not only, I don't know if it's like history, but even like current events, how they're unfolding now, and how there's two sides to every story. That's always how it's been. So it's like, who's writing this text and who's teaching you about these things and the way that the world works? It's that old, like, history repeating itself of, like, just kind of steering us to whichever way they kind of, the cattle, you know what I mean, man?
Well, because back in the day, I mean, even when our parents were growing up, which is why our parents are as, patriotic, and particularly our dad thinks that history was made in kind of a white-scaled way. Like, we don't hear the sides of other people's, how they saw history come about.
Yeah.
It's just one way, it's written in a textbook, and there it is. Don't question anything outside of it. Don't question what the Native Americans went through during 1621 up until, now. Don't even think about that.
Right.
Nope, we came here, we took the land, we're blah, blah, blah.
Name
and
baseball
they don't
teams
want
after
to,
you.
yeah, and they don't want to question the other part of it. But I will say schools have changed their lens, which is why a lot of people think that
Liberal.
teachers push liberal agenda because they question what is taught in the textbook. They question other sides of the story. They want to see it from a really, well-rounded perspective of what history is.
I had this, it's kind of not on that exact same note, but, like, I have this one thing that a teacher said to me in, like, 7th grade or something, and it was when I was, like, dealing a lot with, like, leaving religion and trying to understand, and feeling uncomfortable with it. But he was a science teacher, so obviously he was probably agnostic or an atheist. And he would always talk about just, like, stopping. It was like that dumb, like, stopping and smelling the flowers because then he'd, like, say something cruel like we're gonna be dead or something after. But like, teachers are always, usually it's like, we'll start with that Christian kind of, like, God driven thing, and then just having a teacher even planting that in my brain, it was uncomfortable and it was hard to deal with. But at the same point, it's like, you can't always look at the happy side of things. It almost goes back to what we started this episode with and talking about, like, having a shitty week. And I was like, what's the importance of dark times? What can you learn from it? Like, you can't always be just existing in pure joy and happiness. As great as that does sound, you're never going to grow from that.
Yeah.
And just asking the difficult questions. It's easy to look at, like, oh, America's great. We found, like, we're on this great path. What did he say? Oil prices low are great. Like, big tax. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really easy.
Yeah.
And that's a great world. He definitely lives in that world where he just feels so much of that, like, I don't know, what's it called when you have, like, the dream board? That's probably Donald Trump's whole fucking brain. He's like, I'm the shit. Like, I'm rich. Melania, you know what I mean? But, like,
he's got altars.
He's not asking, like, that guy goes on an acid trip or, like, some ayahuasca. He's uncovering some dark shit that he's been burying.
I don't think he's coming out.
No,
That's But so many people live in that kind of ignorant.
Oh,
bliss.
100%.
Narcissistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier.
Well, I mean, just like he tweeted that, like, oh, gas prices go down, this and that. And it's pulling that fucking wool over our eyes. Just like the Saudi did, like, oh, here, I let women drive. We're all good, right? Like, this is all, we're moving forward.
It's
we're
all cover-up.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a little token for that other side to be like, so if I want to have a conversation about, it's like, oh, whatever, like the oil, or you want to pay more for gas, like, you know what I mean? It's like giving them that little treat, and then they'll get that little biscuit, and they get a little taste, and they're like,
suck on that titty.
Yeah,
until it's fucking dry.
Until it's gone. They'll get everything out of it. Oh, man.
Fucking A. Now, you mentioned these teachers. I'm starting to think, and it's just like, it's a new generation of teachers, too, that are more open to that and more... do you see, like, a difference between, like, in other teachers or yourself, like, your passion to teach is obviously over the paycheck because teachers don't make much, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately.
Right.
Do you see that passion, like, fade over time?
Yeah.
Because it's got to, right? Like, teachers get beat down. These kids talk shit about teachers all the time, too. Like, it's got to affect their psyche, too. Like, I'm really trying to teach these kids,
Shoot at them?
Right. Don't say that, dude. Not in a school.
Yeah, never.
Come on.
It would never happen.
Yeah,
passion fade.
it's just a I think you go through waves, like any job or any. I mean, I've even really been tested this year, and I have to kind of step back and I'd be like, okay, they're teenagers. Yeah. These kids are not purposely or really trying to hurt my feelings, or, you know, they're not demons. They're not mean-hearted people, right?
Well, I mean, they are.
They are.
I think about the things that I said and the things that I did when I was a kid. It's weird, though. You are.
It's just like they're not open.
Right.
They're not open
but
to it.
Out of 185 students that I have, I can really say that most of them are really good kids the core of it, right? But influence other people. You're 14, 15 years old. Of course, you're not going to always be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You know, things like that. I just learned you cannot take it personally, right? Like, I'm not going to read, you know, my favorite story to the kids and every single kid be like, oh my God, that was the best. Like, unfortunately, they're like, whoa.
My third eye is open, bro.
Like, they're just not all going to be. However.
Gento's so weird.
Yeah. I probably get that a lot.
It's like half witch.
However, I do notice some teachers who are really inspiring that have been teachers for 37. I work next door to a woman. She's been a teacher for 37 years. And still, she thinks of new lessons. She finds new short stories, new videos to share. She's always creating new ideas. And she is always changing and innovating as a teacher. However, there are teachers who will use the same lesson plans for their entirety of their career.
Like the system breaks them down essentially at some point, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and especially in an environment where we're pretty much taught to teach for testing. Because of all the standardized testing, all the benchmarks we take, all the data collection.
It's indoctrination.
Yeah. So that's it, your freedom of creativity and wanting to, you know, do individualized learning for your students. Some of that is really repressed because at the end of the day, they're going to have to take a test. And that test, unfortunately, is going to determine whether or not you get paid. Right? Or get a job
to
back.
The proper school.
Even though we pay more money per prisoner than kid.
Right. Here in Arizona, it's $21,000, I believe, per person in jail. And per student, it's about $7,000.
Wow.
3 times.
Yeah.
That is fucking insane.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Doing great, America.
I know.
Yeah, God bless.
So do you feel like, I mean, like with Thanksgiving, for example, like, do you talk about this kind of thing? Like, are you, because you also, it's like a slippery, it's tough too, because, you know, it's public school or even private school because you're still getting money from other people. So you have to like appease to these certain ideals. And then how separate everybody's starting to get these days and how fucking left and right and red and blue and atheist or Catholic, like everybody's so preachy on both sides. Like nobody ever wants to meet in the middle just for the sake of conversation. It's like back to that science teacher, just like saying that uncomfortable thing just to make your kid think. But you're like, no, I'm shaping my kid that way. But you're not, because I don't feel like parents are parenting their kids after school as much as they were just because they're working more and all that kind of shit.
They're just not around.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
When you teach literature, right, because I teach English lit, so when you teach literature, ideally what you're supposed to do, so say I'm doing a novel study. So I just finished To Kill a Mockingbird with my freshman.
God, what a boring book. I'm just kidding.
Atticus?
So I made them a little uncomfortable because in order to get a full story, you have to look at it from multiple standpoints, right? So you have to look at it from the time period in which it took place, the time period in which it was written, our modern period now. So reading nonfiction articles to coincide with a novel is really a way that you can shape the themes, character development, everything that actually takes place in the novel.
Manipulate the youth, so to speak.
Well, it's not
brainwash.
It's always
Hashtag Disney.
clearly I get offended easily. But I try to do it in a very neutral, you know, because we do read some uncomfortable things. Like we talked a lot about, well, the very first day of the unit, I said, what is fair? Like define fair in your journal, right? Like what is fair? And then I revisited that at the end of the novel. What?
Me winning.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked about the most uncomfortable really was the fact that the book is banned. in a lot of places
Right.
in the United States. And it has been being banned for years because of offensive language. But really right now it's being banned for the idolization of Atticus. This person who really we have said is the greatest lawyer, man, father, whatever in history of literature.
Yeah.
So we read a lot of articles about, you know, should this book be banned or should it not? And next week we're writing argumentative papers and my students are going to argue whether or not it should be or should not be banned.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I try to bring it as modern day as possible because at the end of the day, I mean, we all live in our own bubble, right? I mean, good literature should open your eyes to a myriad of things. But really, you'll read something and maybe it won't change you or maybe it will.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it from multiple perspectives to try to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Most of the students really, really like the book, so that makes teaching it pretty, well, fun, to be frank, just because a lot of the kids really like it.
That's cool. I think the way you're doing it too probably intrigues them a little bit more.
Yeah. Keep it
keep it
relative
relevant.
to now.
Oh yeah,
Always
sure.
relative. Yeah,
And
that's my
there's
goal.
so many subjects that you can bring up now, like the parents are just gonna freak out.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about back to the evolution theory, like the teacher that said that in classrooms, and like
Well, that's
they came.
banned.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
crazy though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
In Arizona.
fucking
Like we
insane.
should at least teach all ideas.
Yeah.
And that's what's so crazy.
Yeah. So
Like-
I mean that just relates back to then too. It's happening then. You know, just not.
Banning books, banning ideas, banning thoughts. It's like,
Fahrenheit 451, baby.
well, that's banned.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. A lot, I mean, the list of banned books is disturbing.
It's crazy.
Is that Ray
Ray Bradford?
Bradford?
I can't think of the last
I
name.
don't know.
what
It's a
it
good
is.
book though.
Yeah.
It is a great book.
A lot of books that I read a lot of like Slaughterhouse-Five, Kurt Vonnegut, like those
Oh, yeah.
his books are banned.
Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
It is well it's like the Alex Jones, like taking away the free speech.
Right.
Like that's
But
I
he's
don't-
exposed things before in the past too that are like important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that.
Like Skinwalker Ranch and how we have high government people going to these places like sacrificing animals, wearing cloaks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Bohemian
Bohemian
Grove.
Bohemian Grove. It's crazy. So it's like, you know, and I try to be like that. I get answers from the left. I get answers from the right. I get answers from conspiracy theorists, air quotes. It's like there's spectrums and there's truth in all sides. And to be honest, I was even in, I think for the last maybe
In a
2 or
cult?
3 years, kind of, the left cult. I feel like I was kind of trapped in the echo chamber of being liberal a little bit. Of, you know, of all the TV, like comic shows I was watching, and all, you know, all the news, all the late night people are always so left that, you know, the left are just as guilty of a lot of crimes, a lot of corruption, a lot of fucked up things.
Oh, yeah.
And so for them to even act like it's not happening,
Hashtag me too.
it's like that completely gives your power away, man.
Right.
And that's what the right does. That's what all sides do. And that shit with Jim Acosta, like on CNN, is so insane that they're suing and then they revoke his press badge and then they try to sue again and they give him back. It's like, dude, you need to be professional. And that's, you know, you're bringing it up earlier, and it's kind of crazy with like how, you know, clickbaity and how journalists and news is working now. And we talked about that last week where it's like when the people at top are setting the example, all of a sudden everybody else starts acting in that same way. And it trickles down, it trickles down, it trickles down. Because like it wasn't until Donald Trump that you see how many fucking crazy people are still out there just like saying ridiculous fucking things. I mean, even like the whole white power, like KKK movement coming out and like
White supremacists.
We're nationalists now,
Yeah,
right?
nationalists, yeah.
Yeah.
and then
Well,
and then him
let's get rid
protecting
of the white clothes.
and him protecting their rights to do
to do that. Well,
I don't know.
I spend my day with 15 and 17-year-olds, right? Because I'm Monday through Friday.
Creep.
I know. 8 hours a day, right? I will say, I mean, him being president has allotted for behaviors that probably would have not been okay in the
Yeah.
past. I mean, because it's free speech. Because that's what everybody says.
It's
That
true
free
though. I mean,
speech
that
is
is
being destroyed, and I can say what I want because First Amendment, and I'm going to be offensive and rude because look at our president. He does that all the time.
Yeah.
So
he's
politics,
the head honcho.
yeah,
Works
politics
for him.
aside, I mean, he's not a good person. Obviously, I think we can all agree
For
on
sure,
that.
yeah.
But it's just what a horrible example to set for
The
everybody.
next generation.
Right,
Yeah.
for everybody.
Well, that's
I mean,
true. Everybody.
like kindness has already been fleeting in our country. I mean, I feel like a hippie over here, but kindness, compassion, those are still important things. Gas prices and jobs and grabbing pussies and whatever. At the end of the day, that's meaningless.
They're all fine, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Building
All
walls.
good, building walls. But
Caravans.
if you cannot be kind and compassionate, I don't know, man.
I don't like this extension, man.
Do you want to extend it? We could pause real quick. and
No, we're
cheers.
good. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I know.
I know.
It's just one of those.
We're in Trump's America.
Yeah, we are, and for probably I guarantee 6 more. I mean, 2020. I know.
Well, yeah,
I think he will
let
win
me-
again in 2020. I'm not.
I hope not.
I hope not either, but as a pretty liberal individual, I don't think the Democratic Party has anybody to really bring to the table.
I think it's been like a super long time since it wasn't 8 terms.
8 terms?
8 years.
8 years, yeah,
Like
2
it's.
terms.
I don't know the last time, but
well,
it's been like it's
George
pretty
W.
much
Clinton,
always.
Obama.
Well, Clinton got impeached.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows
In his
why?
second-
For getting his weenie sucked.
In his second term, though.
Yeah.
There's some like dark
He
secrets.
still
that-
got reelected all through the
Yeah.
midst of those
Allegations.
allegations. Yeah, so
It's creepy how old he was. Like she was 20 years old.
Yeah.
she was an intern.
And that's the fucking
That's-
president of the United
That's
States.
really creepy.
I might get down there in seconds.
Cause well, I mean, back to the Bohemian Grove and like pedophile rings and shit that are happening on the top. I mean, there's a lot of secrets in there that like supposedly that. I mean, okay, I don't know how to start to get into this. Let's start with. I mean, was there any more on like kind of what we were just going off on
No,
Trump
just-
and the fucking
we're just-
chaos?
I
Who
can
knows?
talk about it all day.
Who knows,
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
Anyways, shout out to Ash or something for sending me this. It's like this Celine Dion, her new clothing line.
Oh, yeah, you sent me that,
Did you watch the video?
I didn't watch the
Okay,
video. I read
here we
the
go.
article, though.
Here we
Me
go.
neither.
So, Celine Dion has, I'll give a little backup to the story.
No, it's a clothing brand
Yeah.
that exists called CELINUNUNU or whatever the fuck
yeah, like
it's called.
CELINUNUNU.
Is she
or
just,
something.
And she's like an advocate, or she's like
or
promoting.
so she
it.
doesn't create it, she just promotes it? Is that what it is?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Well, from what I read, it's an existing clothing company.
That she kind of like
and then
coined on top
maybe
of it.
she put her twist on it,
Oh,
or maybe
threw
wanted
money
to
and stuff
yeah.
into it. No gender babies.
No
binary.
gender, no pink, no blue,
Yeah,
no.
so
So
let's.
it's all gray and black.
Here we go.
So they're chasing her down.
I'm Celine Dion.
And it's showing 1 hour earlier.
Our children, they are not really our children, as we are all just links in a never-ending chain that is life. For us, they are everything.
She's
But
walking
in
into a
reality,
hospital.
we are only a fraction of their universe. We miss the past. They dream of tomorrow. We may thrust them forward into the future, but the course will always be theirs to choose.
She's spraying this glitter over the baby.
So this is an advertisement.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
this is a commercial. We'll probably see that. Yeah.
So now you can't tell.
That's the gist of it.
So now you can't tell whether
So basically, yeah, the hospitals,
boys or
boys are in blue, girls are in pink, and she's like, everybody, and yeah, sure, we all deserve our own choice of whatever color, whatever. But the creepy side about it is like, I don't know if you saw like the one kid had like New Order on it and stuff.
Yeah.
And the big conspiracy thing is like it's trying to make us so we're not like so human. It's trying to take that away from us. It's like the more shootings and things that we see, it's like you just see like cattle. You see this. But what's crazy, like what's so creepy about like these so look at some of these advertisements too. It's like this kid skeleton over his face, hoe on this little girl's shirt. Let's get physical with like 2 kids, one with like third eye, fucking antler shit.
Putting antlers on
devil horns on a
horns
fucking
babies.
infant.
Animal heads on babies.
What, a handprint on a...
On a bathing suit? This is fucking creepy, dude.
Isn't it creepy?
Look at this one. That's fucking crazy.
Well, no, that's
dude.
what they took their inspiration from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love all this kind of imagery, but maybe not with kids.
Yeah, that shit's fucking creepy.
Too much.
But dude, it's like
Man, it's
what?
too much.
And then so that's kind of spitballing off that whole like Bill Clinton like pedophilia thing, where it's like, you know, you are an old man, and you're a 20-year like for me a 20-year-old's.
How
like,
old was he at the time? Do we know?
Let's see.
How old was Clinton?
Because he was a younger
98?
president, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
What was it, 90?
96, 97?
Lewinsky. Let's see. He's 72 now.
He was.
He was 49.
Yeah.
She was 22.
Okay, yeah. That's not.
She's legal, bro.
That
She
is a
knew what she
weird
was
thing.
doing.
That's a weird thing, right?
Was it-
18's legal.
Yeah. That's
But
young.
and then you see those like age
You
gap
see it a lot,
loves, like
though.
well Dane Cook is that his name? Like he's 49, he's like with a 19-year-old.
That's
It's
disgusting. Well, it's Dane Cook, so.
but like these rings on top where you say like, oh, that's crazy. It's like he's 49. You don't want to fucking blowjob for 22-year-olds. Like, okay, sure, whatever, like fine. But then you go into like, you know, people like Brad Pitt and he's on like this whole front of trying to like expose the pedophilia ring in Hollywood. Even like there's this great quote I got from this article, and he's like, you think Hollywood is about making movies? That's just a byproduct. It's about money and, more importantly, power and control. The people who run Hollywood also run America and most of the world. And they don't care about movies. You've heard of the Illuminati, right? The secret societies, the politicians, the bankers, and the media. They're the ones running these pedophilia rings. They're the ones that run the world, and it all goes back to Hollywood.
That's
Yeah,
creepy.
It's kind of true, though.
And he's been in it for a long time. You know, he's seeing these things. And there are... Elijah Wood got on the table saying this, and you see the Harvey Weinsteins, the Bill Clintons, all these things that are happening. Anthony Weiner finds his laptop was confiscated, and this a sheriff who's seen people murdered, double homicides, he said he's never seen something so sad. He started crying when he saw what was on his computer.
Ooh.
And then fucking Hillary Clinton, her campaign, and this is a big thing with the emails that went missing, they paid a shitload of money to open and close that case and get him in jail real quick because he was sharing these images with other high-end people, and they didn't want those other people exposed.
Yeah. Well, that's how, like, celebrities, like, nudes and stuff get leaked. I mean.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. No, it's weird. I mean.
That's
but-
creepy.
It's not even just weird. It just,
It's creepy.
it's creepy that...
We think how much we idolize them.
Right.
I mean, look at our society idolizes.
Fame and fortune.
Yeah. I mean, because isn't that the American dream? Money, fame.
power, kind of, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I don't
Yeah.
think, but for a lot of people, that's what it is. It's money and fame, and that equals success.
And then getting into like how big of a problem this is that we don't ever talk about, because we talk about like, oh, there's an E. coli breakout, like there's, you know, a couple of people got sick, maybe, you know, 2 old people died. Like, that's sad, that's terrible, obviously, but I was like trying to look up some like, you know, sex trafficking and like pedophilia facts.
Can't find it.
Okay. No, you can't. Well, no, it's really easy to find, but like people aren't reporting, like
About it.
major news networks aren't reporting on the things that people are finding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like trafficking women and children is like the #1 crime that's growing right now, and it's estimated that they're pulling in $99 billion a year
Holy
illegally
shit.
from this. So like think about drugs and all these things that we're always talking about. Like what about the $99 billion industry that's happening right now?
Mm-hmm.
There's 24.9 million people right now in entrapment. 25.9 million people.
Wasn't that like the premise of Taken?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's a
Yeah.
lot of movies and stuff that kind of
The
show
auctioning
Yeah.
them off too.
But in America, it's that many, or in the world?
That's the world.
Okay. I mean, that's still not making
Yeah.
it any
No.
better. Because in the United States, those numbers are rising.
Well, there's I think I still heard like of like that. There's still a big piece of the pie that's in America and go like kind of funneling through. I mean, we're just as guilty as anybody else. You know, we just try to act like
gross.
red, white, and blue, baby. But it's just crazy. Like that's for that big of a number, like, and people and news networks and not talking about this.
I think that nobody wants to talk about it.
Why do you think that is?
It's an uncomfortable fucking topic.
Is it that, or is it because who's paying these news networks?
There's that too.
And they don't want to be exposed. Like, the Harvey Weinsteins keep these secrets for years and years. I mean, Bill Cosby almost went to his grave and fucking date raped like
70 billion girls.
Yeah. Like, yippity skippity doop,
Like 70 billion?
But that's like kind of an age-old thing, though. Like, if you have money, no matter what your job is, if you have money in the judicial system, shit, you get away with fucking anything. I mean, it doesn't...
Murder.
Yeah, literally. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, you get away with... But also the celebrities use their quote-unquote platform for a variety of topics, a variety of things. And... going back to the Celine Dion thing, I mean, the non-binary movement, I don't even want to call it a movement. I don't even really know what to call that. But by her stepping in and supporting that, I don't know how much backlash she's gotten any or whatever.
She's gotten quite a bit.
Has she? Okay.
And the issue with that, though, is it's not transgender. It's not, like, gender fluid or non-binary. Obviously, you have your own choice. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But for an infant, like... be at least, like the people that are giving like their kids like 6 and 8 year old, like, because they're starting to do something different. It's just like their brain hasn't even developed yet.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? And then you're giving them, and the thing that I really worry about this is like, with transgenders or something like that, like the whole bathroom issue. Like, they didn't just start going to the bathroom. They've been going to the bathroom with the bathroom they felt like they belonged to for, I don't know, hundreds of years, whatever, since we've had bathrooms, But now then you start getting these people in there that are like doing these crazy things, and like, it's that extreme left. That's where I see it the most. It's the extreme liberalism of being like, you can, like, freedom of words, but then if you say one word, then they get offended, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. And then you're making this whole other group that's been minding their business for so long. And that's the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing. It's like, this huge star kind of comes out who's fucking batshit crazy. Like,
there's only one reason she came out.
And she killed the guy with the car. I got a clean record now, baby. Is that crazy though? Like, she killed somebody with her car and then changed her gender.
I'm Caitlyn, baby. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but the idea, and I feel bad for that community because they have. Man. I will say, I can't think of her name. She's an awesome influencer for the transgender community on Orange is the New Black.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either.
Be good.
Yeah, whatever. But the unfortunate is...
I have seen her in some articles, though, supporting transgender rights and all.
And it's good, and that's the thing. It's like, in taking that platform, it's the Brad Pitts and those.
Do you think there was transgender outhouses back in the day?
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is... I try to be as sensitive and open as I can, but sometimes when someone tells me there's like 36 genders, I get
like, I know it, and then...
I mean...
There's 76 pronouns, like...
But I hate...
And growing.
Yeah, and I hate, really, I don't like to be offensive, and I don't want to ever say the wrong pronoun to somebody or be insensitive by any means, but it's like one day it's okay to say, and the next day it's not.
It's the issue. It's like,
I know it sounds bad to say, but sometimes I get stressed about what I'm supposed to say and what I'm not supposed to say.
We're not. That's the thing. It's like, aren't they just as guilty if you're coming from a good place and you're just kind of speaking how you always have spoken, even though it might not be correct and you're working on it? It's coming from a good place. You're not trying to offend people, but they'll get that soundbite or that little quick thing and be like, hey, like, this is her, like, she hates this or that, and it's like, whoa, like, just like setting the witch on fire before, sink or swim,
I have somewhat of an example this other day. These lesbians come in, and they're a little, is it say butchy? Like, they're rough,
I don't
right?
I don't know if that...
I didn't say it, so it's on you.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know. I really don't even know, to be honest.
Lumberjacks.
So I go and I'm like, oh, hey, ladies. And then, like, I turn around and I go do something else, and I'm like, oh, what if they don't want to be called ladies?
Right.
You know, like it makes me think like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna say next? Like, oh, have a good day, guys.
Yeah.
What do I say? You know, it's fucking weird.
Well, like guys, I had a professor one time who got emailed because he always said, "Okay, hey guys, like how's it going?" I think I said this on the last podcast. I don't remember. But
we don't either.
yeah, okay. He was
Shout out to Mary J.
yeah. He was like, "Hey guys," and a student emailed him saying that they were offended by that.
Oh my god.
That you guys was not.
Oh.
And I say that as a teacher. I say that all the time.
Right.
I'm not going to say boys and girls
Yeah.
or ladies and gents. Like, I'm not going to say that. I always just say.
Gather around, classmates.
Yeah, I say like,
Gather around.
okay, everybody listen up, or hey y'all.
CELINUNUNU.
Yeah. And it's weird because it had her
Welcome, my
lullaby
nunununu's.
song in the background that I love that song. She's like, lullaby and good night. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I love Celine Dion. So this is just a weird thing that I just never saw her.
Do you think she just accepted a
Supporting.
paycheck?
What's that?
Do you think she just accepted a paycheck?
I think one of her kids is non-binary.
Oh, yeah.
Now, don't quote me on that, but I have
You're
a
quoted.
Gento.
That was Jen Gento.
Jen down right now. I'm not sure what, but I think maybe that would be a reason to, support it.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of putting babies in like black and white and
That was just
gray-
way too like Illuminati
Yeah.
propaganda.
I mean, if you looked at we looked at those
symbolisms.
pictures, that's what it all was. And it was,
Maybe we'll post some of those for the Instagram.
and it was weird because it was like she's talking about like giving the people back to who they belong to in a way. It's like
Ooh.
right, or it's like you create just these non-gendered sex workers.
very
back to
dystopian
that
future.
fact. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this this trafficking of people as like slaves in a weird way, and we are kind of slaves in a weird way which we don't ever. I mean,
to the man.
we are, man. We are
We are.
though. Like you don't. You say, oh no, you have freedoms. Why? You have the freedoms because you can go to McDonald's or Jack in the Box, but like you still have to go to work to support yourself.
Freedom's
all
just
these
another
things.
word for nothing left to lose.
Let's
Good
end it
old
there.
Janice Joplin.
Janny.
Janny!
Love her.
Sure do.
We were talking about that. Sorry, I feel like I only talk about my job, but we were talking about Henry David Thoreau, who is a transcendentalism writer in the 1800s. To be a transcendentalist basically means
Thank you.
we're away from the norms of
I mean, we
society.
all know what that
Yeah.
means,
Yeah,
but can
yeah.
we explain for the listener?
Our listeners, for some reason, they're not very smart.
Whatever. I just mean it's
Transcendentalism.
is a literary movement under the Romanticism literary movement in the early 1800s. So you have like Edgar Allan Poe, Nathaniel Hawthorne. Those were the Gothic American writers underneath this big umbrella of the Romantic writers. Okay, then you have the Transcendentalism writers, who Henry David Thoreau, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Basically, these people stepped away from the norm of society, meaning they stopped working, would only work when they needed money. He actually went and lived in a small like outhouse by a pond and decided to live
it a
there frugally.
Transgender out?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Full circle.
And write about it. But we were talking about how
I mean, he was a transcendentalist.
Yeah.
as a
Right.
writer,
Transcendental bathrooms.
so
Transgender bathroom.
I think that's what he wrote about.
Oh, really?
But we were talking.
This bathroom should be transgender.
Where is the toilet paper?
I don't know how they spoke back then.
Probably wasn't.
Probably
that.
was.
I mean, it probably
Maybe
was.
America. I don't know. No recordings, but how interesting that they could just like stop working, step away from those norms. I don't know. That's what it got me
it's a
thinking.
less hectic life, I would assume.
Yeah, they went
right?
for a peaceful. They wrote a lot about nature, and I mean, this is right after the Puritan. I mean, we have the Salem witch trials, right?
Yeah.
This is all following that. And
Everybody's
this literary
trying to-
movement really were like, I don't want to just talk about the glorification of God anymore in my literary writing work. I want to talk about
Fucking Jack the Ripper.
yeah,
This is-
right, exactly.
Yeah, they just went out and I would assume write about
I don't know. I mean, I've read.
You've read it?
Yeah, I've read it.
transcendentalism.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just like the whole idea of like not knowing how somebody's used to speak, but we accept that's like that how they spoke. I saw something that was like, who was the first guy that like this is how dinosaurs sound? He's like, "Wow!" And it later came out like they probably sounded like chickens, I guess, because they're like they're more they probably had fur, like feathers.
Birds
and, like,
are dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly.
They're modern day dinosaurs.
Yeah, so like the sounds are actually, they'd probably be like a higher pitch, like kind of I don't know, just funny, but we
accents are weird too.
Bird feet,
like how those
chicken feet.
Yeah, that's true. The same claws. Yeah, that's
because they have
claws.
the weird little
the talons. Yeah.
If only the viewers could or listeners could see that.
Dun 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 talon coming. But
it looks good.
And that goes into just history though, of like that, back to that textbook, or like we accept that's what it is, and then we never say, and you never think any more than that. You know, as insane as the flat Earth theory is, that's what it is. Yeah. It's like and that's the only thing about that kind of was like, that is interesting. Like you don't ever question even some of the things that you've just been accepted, even though for the most time the people up top are just as fucking blind and full of shit as you are, but they want to like make you feel safe or try to control you in a different way. It's like the whole control thing is because if we let all the people just be writers in a outhouse by themselves, like a lot of people would probably fucking go crazy, because a lot of people are like, they need to just be working and buying whatever the newest TV is on Black Friday and waiting for the newest video games, like distract.
That's
That's
purpose.
They found purpose in that.
Suppress.
And
exactly, yeah.
And it's the whole thing of comfort. You know, it's the comfort of let's get into that. Actually, I have a little clip.
Comfort.
Because I don't like talking shit behind people's back. So this is from episode 20. We just kind of brought this up. I just feel like when you... And my sister told me that it's in this movie. I can't remember what it's called. I don't really care because it sounded kind of cheesy. Because she watches terrible shit. Yeah. Fucking terrible shit. She watches the worst shit.
Is it like all the...
That's fucking mean.
It's like, grow up. Dude, Rachel... And we're going to have her on in a couple weeks, and we'll give her shit for it again.
Okay, whatever. We like some of the same movies and shit. So, mind you, that's a blanket statement. I do watch some shitty movies.
I just wanted you to be able to defend yourself.
Hear it first, but I watch some shitty movies. I get entertained easily.
No, it's funny though. So that was my setup for this thing that we talked about the day before. Because we were getting into this cycle where we were talking for like a couple weeks about waking up, telling yourself it's going to be a good day, and doing these little things, you know, back to the dark days of trying to learn, trying to just be present and making the best of whatever present is. And you brought up that Netflix movie with the ginger. Can I say ginger?
Ooh, you can't say that anymore.
Damn it! Redheaded freak.
What Netflix?
And he's like, he goes through his day. It's like a Groundhog Day.
Oh, that's not on Netflix, but yeah.
Okay, whatever. Then he set like just his day ends up better, not because it's dramatically different, just because he makes those little changes to have a better day.
Yeah.
But back under like rewatching things, and like we talked about that a little bit last time, and I still think about that.
You're doing great.
Like what? Like the benefits of it, you know? Like,
there's just none.
Or falling into comfort, and like how dangerous that comfort is. Because at the same time, and actually most of what I was like looking up to try to find some like science behind it, is there's nothing actually, I couldn't find anything bad about it. But maybe that's just, you know, the government trying to control us and dumb us down. But they're saying it's like a nostalgia.
Conspiracy.
It's like a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
But the same point of nostalgia, it's like, I don't think it's good to constantly live in nostalgia. You know, you got to be present in the day, striving for something other than comfort. Asking the difficult questions, I guess.
Right,
you know?
but... And I'm not trying to be, like, defend myself, but I feel like I am.
No, he literally said defend yourself.
Yeah. To say that I don't still expand my mind, though, is such a blanket statement.
I'm not saying... Yeah,
no,
right.
I know,
yeah.
but for people who rewatch or whatever, it's like... I'm still trying not to be on my phone as much. Like, I still read new things and watch new things all the time. So, I don't know. I don't think it's really... Like, you guys talk about, like, vices a lot in here, right? Like, we talk about, like, drinking and smoking. I don't have those things. Like, that's not... And I'm not saying I'm free of vice, but I don't have that comfort in that.
Yeah.
In those activities, right? So... Arguably so, you could say that me rewatching Gilmore Girls,
like
I guess, is
you.
my vice.
Right.
But is it detrimental to my health? I don't know, maybe, but from what I've understood, it's not. I mean,
well, watching TV
it's horrible for you. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, all day I work.
It's like that background noise too. You know, it's like you don't need to necessarily be watching the TV to. Because I rewatched The Office 1,000 times.
Well, I mean, and this isn't a direct insult at you. Like, the thing is, it's what everybody does.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Not, like, millions and millions of people do this all the time.
Especially
it's like
Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls, The Office. I mean,
Office is a big
Office, yeah.
It's like I could be cleaning the house, like, still being productive while that's just, like, on in the background.
So is that something you still do?
No, I don't do that anymore.
Gotcha.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I actually thought about rewatching The Office again, and then this thought popped into my head, like, that's wasting time.
Yeah, right. That's
because I was like, I didn't have to clean the house. I didn't have anything else productive going on.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna binge some TV. And I was like, well, why not watch something new instead of?
I did see something interesting about like why we love binge watching new things, and there's something about your brain, like when you're constantly consuming something that you enjoy that you don't know what's going to happen, your brain's just creating dopamine over and over and over
again. It's like reading a book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But easier.
I just started watching.
I don't know the argument about, again, like I don't.
It's probably a lot better for you to read a book.
Of course, and I read mostly every day.
Yeah, I tried to.
So again, I don't, and I know that I'm not the only person that rewatches stuff or watches consistently, but I don't think it's really doing like harm to my life. I mean, when I was in Italy, I didn't watch Gilmore Girls once.
Or irreparable damage. Like,
yeah,
there's
like,
nothing.
I don't think me rewatching something is as negative as like having another vice, I guess.
For
right?
sure,
like, if that's my weakness, rewatching Gilmore Girls, I guess I'll take it.
Live with it, yeah.
I have a lot of weaknesses. I'm just kidding, but
yeah, but it's always about trying to get better at every part of your life. Yes, even like, or even questioning the good habits that you do enjoy about your life and saying like, hey, why? You know, that's like with weed. I think is a big lesson I've learned on that. Like even in the last couple of weeks and being like, I don't know. I always thought like this is the best. This is like and then always seeing myself like that, and then not questioning even though I loved it so much, being like, hey, what? I mean, like, what do you get? Are you getting something from this?
But I still get. I don't know. I could talk about. I still get like.
Yeah.
Warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
When I watch Gilmore Girls.
Well, yeah.
That's
comfort, I guess.
Right? Yeah, I guess that is comfort.
You still get that release of dopamine. In
like I still laugh. I still like. I know it's so lame, but I do.
You're gonna be in a retirement center, just like in a rocking chair.
Just rewatching, like turn on episode 29.
It'll be on volume 100.
Yeah, I know. I listen to things really loudly. He talks about that a lot. Do you talk about that ever on here?
No.
I think there's something wrong with my ears.
Yeah?
I listen to things very loudly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my brother used to do that. And then I think I used to do that too, but my dad, every time he'd walk into the living room or whatever, he's like, why the fuck's that so loud?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, it's loud?
I get that.
Like,
That's not what he said.
Yeah.
It's probably in Spanish, no? How do you say that in Spanish?
How would you say that in Spanish? Well, he would actually say, ¿Estás sordo? Which means, like, are you deaf?
¿Es toro?
Estás sordo.
Estás sordo.
Sordo.
Sordro.
Sordro.
Estás sordro.
Sure. Sounds like German.
I'm trying to learn.
Nick's Spanish is actually pretty good.
His kitchen Spanish is really
good.
good.
Kitchen Spanish is about it.
You know what? You gotta get Rosetta Stone, man.
Do you think that works? Actually, I've really been.
My cousin.
So I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about.
Your primo.
Yeah.
See, I want to learn so many languages, but I think Spanish would be.
It's from what I saw him do, it's a very simple, easy process to learn.
But sorry if we're gonna go off.
No.
Like Spanish, I took 2 years. Also, when I was a fucking idiot and I couldn't learn anything.
Yeah, also when you took math or English and you don't fucking remember
and I was
shit.
too depressed and anxious to know anything and learn anything. That's kind of going into kids. You know, it's like there's so much emotional shit that like we're not taught how to deal with.
Yeah.
But also like a lot of that we were learning there wasn't relative to how Spanish is spoken.
We're also really horrible at teaching language.
You know, it's like slang. Yeah, right. It's like the slang of like, you know, even if you were to take 8 years of Spanish, I've like heard people were like, nobody speaks like that.
Yeah.
You know, is that true with Rosetta Stone too?
I think it's a more proper. You'll learn the more proper, and then I mean once you have that down, once you have understanding down, you can learn lingo very easily.
Yeah.
Immersing
You speak
yourself
Italian,
is really.
right?
See, io parlo italiano.
A lot, or
It comes and goes. Like my friend actually called me this morning, and she was speaking to me in Italian, and I had to kind of like really.
Reach down deep inside.
Yeah, but so it kind of makes me mad because my Italian when I got back from Italy was pretty fresh because I was speaking every single day. But that's just all about immersion. I mean, I lived in Italy for 5 months, right? So not that long. But in the 5 months time, I learned more Italian than I learned in like 4 years in the classroom of Spanish. And because I had
You're surrounded by it.
Yeah,
it's not just one 45-minute class
Yeah.
that you're sitting in, you know. It's
So I really want to learn Spanish though.
There's something about language. I don't know. Like, let's go into like Italian, for example. They say the more languages you learn, like the more that you'll expand as a person because you're learning cultures and society and ways that people treat each other differently.
Yeah.
Because words are clumsy. Going back into things we've talked about this, and even when we've been on this topic, we ran into words and things that were like, ooh, that feels like uncomfortable. We talk for hours every week, and like sometimes like things kind of like, ooh, like that's cringy.
And I say shit wrong all the time.
Yeah, you say things wrong, and then you're trying to find the words for something. It's like so. Anyway, so English, there's not one answer to like describe like Nick's picking up his phone, Nick's doing this. This is how I share love. Like, obviously you're expanding your consciousness. Would you say there's like a lesson or something that you learned with Italian that you kind of like felt like there's more love in a certain way or like connectivity, if that makes sense?
Well, there's a lot of things you can learn from a language barrier, I guess, right? Because the family I lived with, English was their third or fourth language.
Oh wow! What else do they speak?
So they speak Italian, Spanish, French. The little girl also speaks a little Arabic, and then they speak English.
Is that common?
In Europe, most people know a minimum of 2 to 3 languages.
Is Spanish spoken a lot?
My host mother was from. Her dad is from Chile.
Okay.
And then he immigrated to Italy.
Chillis, like he was born inside that restaurant. That's dope.
Chili's best queso.
Oh,
It
so
wasn't an Applebee's.
No,
Definitely an
Chili's.
Applebee's, baby. That's
And
white trash.
And so they speak Spanish and Italian, and then a lot of kids either go to like French immersion schools or English immersion schools or whatever. So the hardest part about it, I think, was when you speak with someone who knows your language, like knows your mother tongue, or so to speak, is what they...
Mother tongue? I don't like that.
That's what they say.
Let's not say that anymore.
They literally say that.
Creeping me
The
out.
mother tongue.
When they hired me, they're like, we want a mother tongued English speaker. Like they always say that.
What did I sign up
Whatever. Let's
Harvey?
say.
Harvey Weinstein? Is that how you were crashing it?
Yes.
for? I've been trafficked over here.
Ew.
Where's Liam Neeson?
I love Liam. What was I gonna say?
Oh no, sorry.
No,
Mother tongue.
yeah, it's
Mother superior.
You're gonna mother tongue
you
the
cannot
host.
have unless I was fluent in Italian. I would never be able to have 100% real relationship with somebody who only
So
spoke
true.
Italian.
Okay,
right?
If anything, that's the truest.
So that's
one,
what
yeah.
that's what I realized, right? When I was out with people who only spoke Italian, and my Italian was very basic, right? I learned, but then I also learned from my Italian teacher, oltre strade, which means like other road. Like basically, when you're talking and you're talking in Italian, and you know the person doesn't speak English, you just have to keep thinking like, okay, how else can I say this in Italian for her to understand what the fuck I'm trying to say?
Right. Yeah,
And using a different route to go around it, even though maybe it doesn't make 100%.
I find
sense.
myself doing that between English and Spanish now, like talking to different people, because I'm more versed, I would say, in English. Like I know, reading, writing a lot better than I do Spanish. So sometimes when I'm trying to like say something or get a point across, it's usually when you're trying to make a point, like to my mom or something, and I'm trying to explain how this works or how whatever, and I have to find those alternate routes or these like, okay, I can say this to tie into this part
right. Yeah, I do
of
that.
the story.
That's interesting. I do that a lot too.
Yeah.
I realized.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a
So-
good way of looking at it, though. It is when you're trying to make a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is. It's when you are like,
But you connect
I wanna
these other
speak,
things
like,
you know.
I-
Because you're having conversation.
Yeah.
The point of a conversation is to have a point or a feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Kind of like what we do
To win the conversation.
Oh yeah, of course.
Always.
I like the point. I like the point that you brought up, where it's like, you know, you could never have a real relationship with them unless you spoke that language. Because then it's also, that's one thing I like about Spanish. Because then the more I've learned it, I can kind of talk to people. There's a warmth to it, right? Because you're connecting on this level. That's something meaningful to them. And obviously, people that are born in Mexico, Italy, you know, anywhere, they have a different upbringing. So they have a different way of looking at life and through the world. So the only way you can share and get a piece of that is by learning their mother tongue.
Yeah, because by learning it, I became closer with, you know, the young daughter who I lived with and the house mother. Because I would come home and I'd be like, ciao, come stai? And like we'd be talking in Italian and the mom would just like light up. Like she got so excited. Because
She's probably drunk though, right?
Probably. No.
Just like every alcoholic mother, right?
Yeah, all those
she was so
Italians.
nice.
All those Italian moms.
They do not drink a lot there.
No, it's like just
they
like
actually
a meal
like
or
hate
something, right?
drinking culture. Like drinking culture is not a thing in Italy.
No?
Even like with the young crowd?
Not even at Chillis?
Like nightclubs and stuff, yes, definitely a thing. But with like family meal times, I mean, they drink about
A sip of wine?
pretty much at dinner.
Wow.
It's about like a sip of wine. It's about a drop. So it's about a sixth of what a glass of wine would look like in America, which is like a 6-ounce pour. A normal glass.
What an average American. Which I don't know any average Americans that drink glasses like that.
Me neither. But yeah, it was a weird. But drinking culture is not. I mean, so I was there on St. Patrick's Day, right? And in most
Great holiday.
Great holiday, right? Like it doesn't mean anything to most people.
What is it?
Yeah, right. But
You get blackout drunk?
in
About
America,
cultural appropriation.
yeah, cultural
steal
appropriation.
Vomit green beer.
Everyone's holidays. But in America, we have we're drinkers. I mean,
hell
Americans
yeah, bro.
are
Part of being American.
American. You know, you like wake up in the morning, you have Budweiser. But
Budweiser. Do you remember that commercial?
Good one.
no.
Really?
It's the Three Frogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Three Frogs. It's a Super Bowl commercial, I feel like.
I like
Nick doesn't
that.
watch the Super Bowl.
I know. Did we talk about that like 2 weeks ago? I was watching, there was like a Cardinals game in the gym, and it was like the last 2 minutes. I was actually captivated by it. Like I haven't watched sports for a while, but I had like a part of me that loved them back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was watching this last 2 minutes with the Cardinals. They actually won because it was like their last turn of downs, and like they go from 20 to score under 2 minutes. So like it was entertaining.
Right.
But this 2 minutes took fucking 35 goddamn fucking minutes, dude.
Yeah, that's football.
Holy
Time out here,
shit,
flag
dude.
there.
Yeah.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Do you
the
watch
commer-
2 minute warning.
The
There's a 2-minute warning.
commercialism in fucking sports.
How do you think
is-
the NFL has so much
Holy
goddamn money?
dude.
Non-profit organization.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
my
the
ass.
fuck people can do that.
I love football. Do you like football? Do you watch it?
I was into football when my team was doing good.
Okay.
But as
Are you a Cardinals fan?
No, I'm not. I'm a Broncos fan.
Wait, what? You're a
Yeah,
Broncos
it's
fan?
weird.
So am I.
No
Are you
way.
serious?
Yeah, that's why it's
Howdy.
weird.
John
I didn't know
Elway,
that.
baby.
John
Elway.
Number 7. What's up?
That's
Who
funny.
was the receiver on that team? Was it Terrell Davis at
Terrell
one
Davis
point?
was a running back.
Terrell Davis is the shit. Then there was a good receiver too. Who was the receiver?
It depends what year you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking
I mean,
90s.
I don't remember.
I was there for like the Tebow Manning like days. That's when I really, yeah. Because I was young when that happened. I
Yeah.
lived in Denver when I was 16, 17, so I got kind of immersed into that really big football culture
Yeah.
that is there.
Yeah.
Football, don't kneel in my sports. Don't bring your politics into my fucking football game.
Hand me a beer.
Give me a beer. Look at those boobies on the TV.
Where did you grow up?
The first. Are you even like family?
Yeah, like, I don't know where you're getting this from.
What did I do?
I'm kidding.
The first football game I watched was with my dad, and my dad's a diehard Raiders fan, and it was the Raiders versus the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
So just to give my dad the contrary, I was like, all right, I'm a Broncos fan.
Oh, that's funny.
I want the Broncos.
And
So
the Broncos and Raiders hate.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's a
really?
rivalry. Yeah, it's a
it's a
rivalry.
huge rivalry.
So it's like ever since then I've been a Broncos fan up until 2 years ago, and I just stopped watching. I think I watched like the first game of like 2 years ago, two
Yeah.
seasons ago.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this isn't entertaining. Like we were at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
I was focused on my wings.
Oh, that sounds good. I want some. Me and my sister love wings.
I love
I love wings too.
We want to do, listen up, listeners. Nick Cento and Jen Cento.
What are we doing?
Remember we always used to talk, well, maybe this is like high thoughts or drunk thoughts, but we would always talk about, definitely, that we would like go on the road and we'd like document us trying all the best buffalo wings in like every state.
That's our Travel Channel
in
show.
the mainland.
Nice.
Like, I mean, come on.
That'd be fun.
What happened?
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm down.
I'm down.
I have
Let's quit our
summers off.
jobs.
Teach.
I have summers off.
Who do you think you are? Wings around America.
Let's fucking copyright that.
Oh man, there's this one like company that makes shirts that does like, I don't know, he'll tie like sports teams in with like kind of like Mexican culture. His name's like Crisco Cat. I have like this one like Low Smith shirt that's over for the Dodgers, and
That's
the
so
Raiders
cool.
have this one where it's like the Raiders logo, but it's a picture of Selena in the
Oh, nice.
picture.
Nice.
I mean, I hate to stereotype. Just kidding.
I mean,
You
the
should get
Raiders
it
do
for-
have a high volume of Hispanic.
You should get it.
They
From,
do, yeah.
I guess California probably, right? Is
Yeah.
that the highest population of Mexican?
All right, now you're getting racist, man.
Ask Pedro. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know where my people are. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Arizona has a high population of.
Oh, really? Teacher. Oh man.
Aye.
Back to Europe.
Europe.
The
Europa?
This is pretty cool. The European.
You're peeing on my boot.
Look, Buzz. There's an alien.
I love.
my boot.
There's a snake in my book.
Or there's
Someone poisoned my water hole, doctor.
which rope? Which rope is the longest rope?
I don't know.
Europe.
Oh, that's pretty good. Ever seen those like I think it was like college humor videos like a long time ago. They like do
I remember
these.
those.
You know, like the videos where like he goes off to college and has the toys, and like one of the girls like uses one of the toys as like a sex toy. Like it makes it. Yeah, it's like
What are you watching now?
it's like. But it's not like actual. It's just humor of like they want like. He takes him to college, so he's like smoking weed and shit. And they're like, "What's Andy doing?" And like, it's hilarious.
Oh,
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please send me the
Anyways,
link.
That's a great transition back to the European Union. They voted 571 to 53 in favor of a complete ban on 10 single-use plastic items,
Oh.
such as plates, cutlery, straws, balloon sticks, cotton buds. The picture was a water bottle, which intrigued me. I was like, "Whoa, they banned water bottles."
Did they?
But I couldn't find that anywhere. So I think
European
that was
Union, the whole union?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I believe it, though. I mean, the
So
way
did
that
you not
they...
see much plastic over there, or was it?
Well, just the way they even just... Recycling is a whole new level over there. I mean, the house that I lived in alone, there was like 8 or 9 different trash cans or like trash bins.
Yeah.
And even at restaurants, I mean,
Oh,
there's
for-
like carta, which is like papers and stuff like that, and then there's like plastic.
I did a little scoop. Yeah, there was a
Scoop,
little
scoop.
potty.
Gotta go potty.
To the transgender bathroom.
Yep.
What do you call it? The trans something.
The unisex.
Transcendental.
Transcendentalism
Potty.
bathroom. Yeah.
What was I saying?
Yeah, there's like 9.
Oh yeah, they're just different.
bins.
Yeah, and so I believe that the plastic thing is not. You don't see a lot of it.
No.
Other than water bottles, I think would be a big one. That I think that'd be pretty difficult unless they went to all like boxed water or something like that.
Yeah, well, why not? I guess.
I don't know, but I think I never saw like plastic cutlery like in America. I think like
Ugh.
most people, and I'm guilty of it too. Like used to keep like paper plates and like plastic cutlery at home,
It's
and
easier.
yeah, and that's like that would never be a thing. Which with a family of 5, there was 5 of us. I mean, we went through so much like plateware and stuff like that. I was thinking about it because breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Right.
were full big meals. And just the way that they recycle and the way that they care about
But eating,
trash.
eating on
and-
a good plate with like better utensils, like
It just changes
and
it.
it makes the meal better.
Yeah.
Because I think we have that fast food plastic
Mentality.
culture where it's like you're okay with eating because you're not like seeing it on, like if you got like a cheeseburger and like had it on this metal plate with like this like expensive silverware, you're kind of like, you look at it completely different.
Yeah.
But and, even from moving from Seattle to here, dude, like, I mean,
Horrible.
I haven't lived in an apartment complex that even has like
Yeah.
different recyclable
We don't recycle.
things.
Yeah, we don't even recycle in this
But in
apartment
Seattle,
complex.
that would be insane.
Well, the
They-
school I work
they
at, we don't
fine
recycle.
you.
Yeah, we don't recycle at the school I work at.
It's yeah.
Like I just have one trash bin. And I throw have to throw paper and stuff out all the time.
It's so crazy.
That's weird. I mean, I totally believe that the European Union would do that because they actually really care about the environment. The family I lived with, they were very big on it. I mean, we had the compost. We had
the compost is great though. Too,
five or six different trash cans. Awkward.
I tried to be more subtle about going to the bathroom this time, but it didn't work.
My chair was in the way.
We'll just put
At least I didn't announce it to the listeners, or pee in a cup.
Yeah, well, I think that would be a good idea. Yeah, so multiple trash cans in all the places.
On the street corners too, there will be like 3 or 4 at least different places where you can throw it out, that have different.
We'll never get there. As a country, we're so fucking
Some
bad.
places do have that though.
Okay, California's slowly doing a couple things, I think, right?
Like college campuses are actually a really big one. Like I went to NAU, and NAU has a huge green movement where, we try to not have plastic bottles on the campus at all. So there's like refillable water stations everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
They really promote bringing your own water bottle. This is before the hydro flask.
I mean, hydro flasks are the shit though too.
Oh my god, I fucking love my hydro flask.
I don't go anywhere without one. I literally don't.
And not only do you not drink more water, it's more cold, more better, more fresh, more tasty. And that's that's the thing with the straw thing. But I was thinking about this earlier today because of this whole movement thing that the European Union did of banning the straw. And that's kind of the big hot button that people are trying to kind of push next. And I don't really even use straws very often because I don't know.
You don't go to but you're not a fast food person.
Yeah.
You don't go to Starbucks frequently. But I think it just depends on where you are.
And the problem is the solution for that, they don't have the great thing about Hydroflex, it's a better solution than the water bottle. I feel guilty drinking out of water bottles, and it's also just doesn't taste as good. It tastes
gross.
It tastes like plastic.
Yeah, it totally does.
After drinking out of my hydro for so long, you can taste it. Or Arrowhead water is fucking disgusting.
Especially with the heat.
You can taste the dirt in it. You can literally taste dirt in it.
Yeah.
Not the only one, I'm glad.
Yeah.
No, it's so true.
Arrowhead.
But then even from living in Arizona, because the heat, that will heat up that water bottle. It's releasing those chemicals into and I was looking up a little bit of plastic in the ocean.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, plastic.
Oh, just a little bit?
Well,
what, plastic in the ocean?
Yeah, I know, right?
Small
we have
half
a fucking
of the ocean.
island. Yeah. That's just trash.
Look at this boat.
It's awful.
Does that not make you fucking
What part of the world is that in?
dude?
I always wonder.
That's near a Bulgarian town.
That's disturbing. I mean, I even look at the way that our parents, and I know a lot of their generations like this, the amount of water bottles they buy and go through for 2 people living in their house is disturbing. I mean, they buy a case of water every other day, I swear.
Yeah.
And think of all that plastic. I mean,
I know.
That one, I know it sounds stupid, but that one small change of not buying water bottles and stuff
It's all about the small changes in everybody's life, you know, about positive things. It's the little steps are, it's you're always going to have this stress or anxiety if you're just saying, well, that's just a little problem. That's just a little thing. But the more of those things that you take away, the more carefree and present that you stay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's the voting mentality too. Oh, my vote's not going to count.
Right.
You know, and it's if I recycle, it's not going to make a difference. If I do or not, it's not going to make a difference. You know, you think that, but I don't know, people just, like you said, if you do that for yourself, then
fill in your own bucket. Is that what you said?
Fill in your own bucket, yeah. What are your thoughts on veganism though, and vegetarianism for
more meat for me?
More, yeah. I'm just curious because I know that a lot of people think that's their mark on saving our environment.
It's not right. They're not saving the environment by being vegetarian.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the only reason, the problem is that what they're doing is they're not supporting the way that we kill cattle, house chicken, the way that we produce the meat.
Right.
That's the problem.
Which they're not wrong.
They're not wrong
what's
at
the
all.
kind of factory of the, what's the movement of, I don't know, I can't think of it. But it's this crazy, the way that, we even talked about slaughterhouses on here a couple episodes ago of just how insane it is. And and the fact that there's a couple of documentary people that were bringing cameras in. Now it's illegal to do that. We're not allowed to see the way that we factory produce our meat. I can fucking drive me crazy. I can't think of what that's
I know,
called.
I can't.
But
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I totally agree with. I mean, I wish I was more conscious and better about it. But knowing where your food comes from and things like that, I'm all behind.
It's
that
too big.
movement,
Eating local is, and what's crazy about, so eating local is so important because you're supporting not only your community and the people around you, you're getting better products, but also what I was kind of hearing, and it's a lot with like this probiotic kind of thing of your gut biome and everything like that. When you're eating local and you're eating cows and cheese and produce that's around you, it's around the bacteria that you're going to be counteracting with. So introducing that into your stomach is going to actually be better for you. So if you're going to run into like some kind of disease, you're not running, and that's why like things like E. coli and all these things are like those outbreaks are all because of how we farm and how like that's how those are created. Bird flu, all these things is all from the animals that we are putting in ways that we shouldn't be doing. And things like vegetarians or vegans, it's like you could do it the right way, but a lot of times they're not actually looking at who's farming their vegetables and like the amount of animals, animals they're killing around that plot of land, or even that land. You're not supposed to keep on recreating the same crop because you've already like stripped all the nutrients out of that soil. You need to keep on moving.
Give that a rest and have another one, and then you just bounce back and forth.
Or it's like growing the thing that's supposed to grow there. Like not like just introducing the seed that we found somewhere else and be like, hey, make this work. We can make it work, but you're not going to get all the nutrients the same way that you would from another way.
Seasonally eating vegetables and things like that too. Like that's going back to that European lifestyle. Like they would not eat blank food during the summer or blank food during,
for sure.
Because they're all about seasonal crops. So like I remember one night at dinner I was like, well, I can't even remember what I said, where's this vegetable or something, and they're like, no,
ooh, honey,
we don't eat that anymore.
No, honey,
like we don't eat that.
Back to your cage.
It was just kind of eye-opening because in America I don't think most people do that in the U.S., right? Do we? I don't know. Maybe that's just how I was raised.
Fine dining restaurants.
Fine dining restaurants. This last summer, I remember being in Fry's, and there was a shit ton of corn everywhere, right? So I got some corn because it was in season. And then a couple months later,
one of my favorites.
The best.
A couple months later. Yeah. Oh, especially in elote.
Oh, elote. Abuelita. Muchos gracias para the elote. Mi corazón mucho feliz.
Oh, wow. That's very good.
Sí, muy bien.
And then, like, months later, going back in and seeing, like, prepackaged corn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think they're in season right now, I mean, it sounded good, but I was like, I'm not gonna get it just because, there's not like the stacks of elotes that's still, in there.
Yeah, when you just
the husk or whatever.
Exactly.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, and the flavor is so much better.
I remember when I was a little kid, dude, my grandma, R.I.P. Grams, we used to sit out back and just pull husk all the time from corn because we'd get a shit ton of corn. And then there'd be like little worms in it. And that was my fucking favorite, dude. I remember as a little kid just like putting them all in jars. I wouldn't eat them.
Oh, you just
I just like
cool.
collected them, put them in jars, and I was like, put little twigs in there and shit.
Did you name them?
No, I don't remember naming
them.
No.
But that was a very fond memory that I have of my grandma and I.
Corn's great.
And corn just brought that up.
Did you have? I've always wanted to try I've had good tomatoes here, like Capari tomatoes, great. Like certain heirloom tomatoes are really good. I love little cherry and grape tomatoes, but I always hear like it's nothing like Italy's
Italian tomatoes.
Yeah, just like people eat them almost like apples, right? Yeah, like.
Or they'll just like dice them up and throw a little olive oil, salt, pepper,
and
a little oregano. Like that was my after, because they eat the vegetables and the salads and stuff after their meal, right? So you eat like your meat and pasta, and then you eat your salad. So we would eat that a lot of times at the end of our meal. We'd cut up some tomatoes, olive oil, oregano, salt and pepper, and oh my god, it's delicious.
And us fucking filthy Americans like, give me the salad with my meatballs.
Yeah.
You got any of those?
All at once.
I just had a pizza. You got any pizza cookies?
Yeah, I actually really like that that's the way they eat their meals. Like,
it's almost like courses. It's almost like a course meal.
Yeah, like on a big dinner, like on an eat, especially like a weekend night, it would be like you eat like a meat first, and then a pasta, then you eat a salad, then you have a fruit. Or then you have the actual dessert, like if there's a cake or something, then you have that, and then you end with a fruit.
Can I go stay with this Italian family?
Yes, they're very nice.
Yeah, let's all go.
Honestly, they
Do
would
have
love
chicken
that.
wings? That should be part of the episode. Like the first episode. How'd you guys have the budget for this?
I have tried. I have tried.
This podcast is going great.
Chicken wings in Europe are not fabulous. Correct me if I'm wrong, but everywhere that because I always crack, and I'm like, I've been here for a few weeks, I gotta get some chicken wings.
Yeah.
And I've had them in Venice one time, and it was kind of a pub, so it was meant to be more like American bar food, but spicy food is...
Hold on, a pub is Irish.
Yeah, whatever.
It's not even American.
I was thinking like a bar, sorry.
No,
like
but if it was
She's
a pub
trying to sound
in
fancy.
Italy-
Give her a
trying to-
No, I wasn't criticizing her. I just think if it was a pub in Italy
It'd be
wanting to be
Irish.
American, like that's like
So it's just a bar.
this place.
There's
There's
a
a
Chili's.
bar.
You took the train
There's
6 hours.
There's one in... No, there's...
I broke. Give me the margarita.
Honestly,
Chicken wings.
do not tempt me with a good time. Chili's margaritas and that damn nasty queso. That's all I need in life.
Nasty queso is one of my like guilty
Me too.
pleasures.
Is
Like, my fries.
No, because fries are good. Like it's like
Still got
fake nacho cheese. I'm talking like movie theater.
That
The pickled
plastic.
jalapenos, that plastic cheese.
Can we go to Chili's
Like-
after this? Not
Yeah, right.
sponsored.
They should sponsor us. Come
Honestly,
on.
those margaritas are good.
You brought
Baby,
me,
baby.
and you
I
brought me
know,
there.
because-
And but I had these chicken and waffle things that were fucking delicious, but it fucked me up for 48 hours after that.
Yeah.
Not like E. coli.
Well, he doesn't eat like that.
Yeah.
So when you eat like that, it's gonna...
It's crazy how it affects you
But
like
it-
that.
It's gonna mess with your caca way.
Yeah. Or lack thereof. No, it's probably the ring of fire, I think, after those ones. So they're kind of spicy.
Yeah, I just like the queso and the margaritas. I don't get anything else when I step into a Chili's. Not that I sound like I like frequent Chili's really often. I
Have
do
we
not.
brought Chili's 8 times this episode?
I have not had Chili's in years.
Non-sponsored.
Not sponsored.
We went this last year, you liar.
That was in 2017,
Oh,
y'all.
was it?
Yeah, so
Damn.
in 2018 I have not had Chili's. I can confidently say that.
Nice.
Yeah, proud of myself. So I gotta make it happen today.
I've been moderating my fry intake.
Have you?
Yes, I really have.
Is that your guilty pleasure?
That is, dude. I can't like contain myself around fries.
What kind of fries? Like, are we talking curly, crinkled?
Any deep fried potato I'm good with. Give me it.
I love.
So
I'm getting
good.
hungry.
I am. That's what's.
We're definitely.
Don't we
eating up for
always
this.
end on like a hunger note?
The Hunger Games?
Ooh.
So good, honestly. Really great series.
Was it?
Hunger Games?
Yeah,
I loved it.
I didn't see him.
Yeah, me
The
either.
books are really good.
It's not what everybody says. Like it's
Just to throw it out there.
Better.
I read that too.
Well, I did, so I have a perspective. I've seen the movies and I've read the books.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
three-way.
Have you ever had food poisoning before?
Oh my god, it's the fucking
Have you?
It's
worst. Cheesecake Factory, fuck you.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Early
god.
time.
Me and Andrea that both got it really bad. I mean, like 3 or 4 days right before Christmas.
Ugh.
And I mean, I was really skinny at the time and I was like never eating anyhow. So I lost
you
like
eat?
6 pounds when I got this food poisoning. So
What'd you eat?
that was a blessing. Me and Andrew got chips and guacamole from Cheesecake Factory. This is before my finer food days. I think now my food
Just let us know.
Yeah,
You don't have to give back up.
chips and guac. Chips and queso's on my mind. Chips and guac.
Chili's.
I think we had like fish and chips, and
Okay.
then we had cheesecake afterwards.
So it's hard to know.
Mom is convinced that it was not. We think it was either that or Mom undercooked a chicken that she made us for dinner. Because we ate this for lunch, and then we both got sick in the evening.
Oh, that's why you're still weird about chicken, because you are convinced it's that.
Yeah, chicken, and Mom made like some pasta, and I'm not. Mom's a great cook, but
But it's so hard to like pinpoint exactly.
Yeah, that's the
what
problem.
so
it is.
weird. I'm so weird about chicken.
Yeah.
Really?
I will not eat chicken at a restaurant. Like I am pretty much certain other than chicken.
And I'm more certain that they'll cook it better than I do.
Yeah.
like,
Well,
that-
I got Nick cooking for me.
well,
like,
that's true.
90%
Yeah,
of the
you got
time.
a
So
fucking 5-star.
I've
been
started
pretty
with
fun.
it.
Over
It
here.
has been really.
Yeah.
God, I eat
I
like
feel
a
like I need to be
queen.
more invited to these dinners.
Yeah, you should. He made this awesome like buffalo barbecue chicken, and like
that's good.
a potato.
I tried my
with some
buddy's
asparagus.
bolognese. He
Oh, yeah?
invited me over for bolognese. Oh,
Yeah.
my-
I've
love
been to
bolognese.
Bologna. Where's bolognese is from?
Oh yeah, do you know the story behind that?
What?
You know the story behind like bolognese?
The bolognese? No, but I did have it in Bologna, and I felt very.
Let's get a little history on bolognese.
Let's do it.
And now the history on bolognese.
Creation of bolognese.
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 Bolognese is a dish that seems to create confusion outside Italy. Ragu in Italy is a general term, used to indicate any meat sauce cooked over low heat for many hours. Each ragu is composed of numerous ingredients, which vary according to each region. Hence, bolognese, meaning from the town of Bologna.
Yeah. See.
See, we got the facts here. This is 1891, bro. So that could even have been Thanksgiving, I guess. Technically, a couple of 30 years later, after they said Thanksgiving, they're like, let's get some bolognese. That sounds good, man. I still haven't made bolognese.
I remember you mentioned it.
It's on my list. I want to make. It's one of those.
So now I have to
things.
compare. Between friends, which friends is better.
Does your friend have a culinary background?
He does not, but he's very, very rounded in the kitchen.
All right.
A big guy.
A little thick.
Total contrary of what he is.
THICC, baby.
CC. Gotta have the double CC.
Shout out. No, but he's very, very good in the kitchen.
That's awesome.
One thing that kind of going into like being sick or even did you
have
ever
you had poison?
I actually haven't. I never have, and I'm a very exploratory eater. Like
there's something about that too,
probably
putting so much and making your gut comfortable.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure, man.
Food that we're ingesting.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, you want McDonald's.
Yeah, if you eat McDonald's,
1 through 10, baby.
What?
I even eat the McFish or whatever it's called.
The filet of fish.
Yeah.
That's what mom and dad get on.
What's your order? Fish fillet.
Yeah.
I got it once from Pita Jungle, I think. Fuck you, Pita Jungle.
Yeah. We're just saying fuck you.
I think we've talked shit about Pita
I think
Jungle
Olive Garden
before.
too, maybe, but I worked there, so can't say it.
Yeah, so it's just an STD.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all clear.
I do the same thing. I literally have never been back to Pita Jungle.
Yeah, cheese.
What'd you eat?
It's gross.
I can't remember.
What was it bad, or were you just out for like a day or something?
I think we were just out for a day, and we were like, "Oh, let's
stomach." No, like stomach just hurt.
Oh no, it's both ends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you have it, at the same time.
Yeah, but isn't there like mild cases of it too, where you can just get like a headache?
Don't you have your food handlers? Whatever it's called.
I've gotten high and done that test every single time. I remember one time I got way too high. It was like back when I had to go watch the video, and it was like, and I was like, it was like a cartoon, and I was totally lost. And I still passed. I've never failed it before. This fucking I had one question that was like, can you de-thaw chicken through sanitizer? I was like, yeah, obviously you can.
Honestly, you're asking the wrong person. I know I used to have my food handlers.
Don't think you can de-thaw chicken with sanitizer, but
do it. Try it out.
Try it with bleach. I'll kill everything.
Honestly, like I overcook chicken. I've cooked it like
salmon,
twice.
That like meme thing. Look, I cooked the chicken's like medium rare. Like you're gonna get salmonella. She's like, this is chicken.
That's why I always get like red meat at restaurants.
Huh, that's interesting. But you can still get sick from
I
that.
know you can, but in my weird mind of. Because I have a serious fear of food poisoning.
Why? Well, why? Just because it was that bad? I mean, haven't you been sicker than that?
It will put me in like... I know I'm not even kidding. Because like my obsessive thoughts that I have, I will sit down to eat a meal. And if I think anything is questionable about it, I will panic that I'm going to get food poisoning. I start researching like food poisoning symptoms. I like will look at the food like it's so weird.
That's the worst thing you can do too.
Yeah, and I won't even eat it sometimes. Like I will buy food and I'm like, nope, I am surely, and I know it's completely irrational. Like I get that, but
what's irrational about it's dangerous because like you can manifest that in yourself, and then your biome will create this thing that you're telling it to create. Prone. There's science in the placebo and the nocebo effect of anything.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It's weird.
Yeah.
I've gotten better about it, but I am not, like... I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a weird thing about me.
I know, yesterday...
Which is why I don't eat leftovers very often. Because I'm really weird about it. I know it makes no sense, but Yeah.
Like
Don't
leftovers
waste.
a
Don't
week
waste
later.
food.
I don't waste it. I eat it.
I've gotten a lot better
It
about
depends
that.
on what it is.
We
like
did
3
not.
days.
We did not grow up eating leftovers.
No,
I'll
'cause
tell you.
mom's
It's-
like that too.
Yeah, it's only been through like girls that I've dated and stuff that like really got me like, why? This is what we're eating. It's like not always that you want to eat it. It's like you paid for this or you know
cooked
just
it.
you cooked it.
I feel bad throwing it away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a thing where it's like you're not always eating to the nourishment of what your brain's like, that sounds good. You know, like sometimes
Right,
just like
no, it's
eat
just
for
fuel.
substance or
Yeah.
to save a little bit of money. Like don't waste. It's like that simple penny a day, is a dollar or whatever,
Well, as I've gotten older, I was about to say as I've gotten poorer, but as I've gotten older,
They go hand in hand.
they go hand in hand in my life.
Yeah, I
As
think
I've
with all
taken
of
that
them.
really low income job of mine,
Yeah.
I respect that I have to eat leftovers. I'm not immune to
Right.
no longer eating leftovers. I don't think anyone
You've
should
had to
be.
change your ways a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
because now I have. I mean, it's inevitable. I can't
Change
not
your brain.
eat them.
Just kind of
Change your brain.
Rewire.
reframe it. Yeah, rewire, reframe. I read this one. It was like a tweet or something.
read?
Yeah, just tweets.
Does you read?
And it was an interesting thing. So it was like, what did it say? Requiring doctor notes to excuse absences due to illness is classist in a country without universal health care.
Oh,
Isn't
That's
that
interesting.
mic drop.
that
Boom,
no?
bitches,
But like,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
it's
true.
pretty crazy. And
'cause
what's
you can't
pretty
have
crazy
something
about even just healthcare, it's like, we had Obamacare, which was pretty shitty. But it was still an option.
All
it was
in
a
good.
thing.
All in good.
It's a small steps.
yeah.
Trump, got rid of it, said he's going to come up with something great, and then still hasn't come out with anything. It's been like two.
Well, he won't ever do a universal type health.
No, but even having a plan or having an option, he's completely taken away.
What
And
was that?
And we're not even talking about it.
10,000 page
Right.
document.
Yeah, what happened to that?
What happened to that Bible?
Where's that at?
That only came out
Can you
right
tweet
after
that out?
right after he repealed Obamacare, though, just so he could act like he was
doing
doing something.
yeah.
But now we're so fucking distracted by all these other things that we haven't even thought. I mean, maybe people aren't thinking about it because they've figured their own way out. But like something that I've thought about is just being like, I really don't fucking have any options,
Well,
man.
and the fact that employers don't offer it. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that there are some employers that get away with not offering health benefits to full-time employees.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
There has to be something completely like I tell my friends from Europe these things, and they just think it's absurd.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
what?
It really is.
Yeah, it is.
But is it really the companies or is it the system that's in play that makes it difficult for the companies?
I don't know. I think it's because I remember a few years back.
I mean, I get it. The company's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, it's going to cost us this much more.
Right.
Let's not do that. I
Yeah.
understand
When they
that.
changed like the hours, I think you have to work.
Well,
in
there
order
always
to get
find
it.
loopholes is the
Yeah.
problem
Yeah,
because the people
that's it.
want to be richer. It's all greed and power, really.
Right.
I mean, it's like people want more money. It's like what's the bottom line?
Like when I was a full-time server, the minimum to get benefits at like Olive Garden, I was like 19, and I didn't need them. I was fortunate to have them.
20?
But you had to work at minimum of like 28 or 30 hours, something like that. No server works that many hours.
Yeah.
So no one really applied for benefits, which is
Yeah.
shitty. And I mean, I worked with people who had kids, and I mean, they were grown people. I was,
Mm-hmm.
young and naive at the time, but I'm still a little naive about some things. But
Aren't we all?
yeah, the universal healthcare thing to me is, to me, it should be just like a good education.
No
it should be
question,
something
yeah.
that is no question. It should be
That or just I
free
mean,
good
or at least
education, cheaper.
I mean, at least something that like we can actually afford.
That's the beauty of the free market.
I mean, it's not a free market. It's a fucking
not.
monopoly.
Of course, I was
You see that?
being
I know. I just get
No, I know.
this like big pharma. All like it's just like it's crazy, man.
Fast food
It's
nation.
just- yeah, man.
That was crazy.
Yeah. What was that one about again?
Basically, just about the idea of
Or did I see Food Inc.?
maybe I'm thinking Food Inc.
I don't know. I can't remember which
They
one.
all kind of like
It's
together
it's
now.
the big establishment and the horrible trickle down economics, that are. I mean, even Walmart. I think Bernie Sanders was talking about this a few days ago. I mean, the person that is the CEO of Walmart makes like. I don't want
A ridiculous
a
amount of
ridiculous amount of
money.
money, and their greeters make like $8 an hour or something
Yeah.
like that. It's like that trickle down system. Fast Food Nation is talking about that and the consumer and the relation with it and the hierarchy of
$22.4 million.
that's normal.
Yeah, and it's like what's funny
Well,
about
what's
that
homie
too.
from Amazon making?
Tough.
He's
But what's funny is like I mean Bezos created the company. I mean, like the CEO, Doug.
But he's still fucking people over.
But and like,
he's fucking a lot of people over.
Oh yeah, he's a monster too. But it's funny. It's like, what are you doing for 22.4?
Why do you need that much money?
Well, that and what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? That's
Right.
like, keep this guy. He was making $19.8 million in 2014. We got a raise up to 13% to 22.4. Like, he's doing he needs a fucking $6 million raise. Like, cook this guy up. Come on, what are you guys doing?
He's only making 19.
Come on, we're gonna lose him.
It is. It's trash. And here we are making bare minimum.
Jeff Bezos.
With no healthcare.
He's
Yeah,
worth
with no healthcare.
He's worth $96 billion.
That's just
That's disturbing to me.
it is.
Nobody should have.
No one should have that much money. I really, and I know I sound like such a fucking liberal, socialist, whatever you want to call it, but no one should have that kind of money.
Have you ever heard this thing too, where it's like,
No one.
there's this line where he's talking. He's like, Jeff Bezos of Amazon. He's like, I want my employees every morning to wake up and what is it?
Pee in a bottle.
And fear for their, like, be afraid of me, like, be fearful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so like I'll
That's
try.
such a fucking controlling aspect.
And what's crazy, I mean, even Steve Jobs was like that too. Like, he was a fucking monster. Like, the things that, wake up every morning terrified.
That's awful.
I constantly remind our employees to be afraid to wake up every morning terrified.
This is Jeff Bezos?
Yeah. Our customers have made our business what it is, and we consider them to be loyal to us. Right after the second that someone else offers them a better service, like they have to do. Well, it's just, it's what.
It is, yeah.
And that's what, and that's what the thing about restaurants too. And I've worked, some restaurants are really good about it. It's like, because you spend so much time together. It is like a family. It's like to be fearful, I mean, I don't know. It's like, that's crazy.
Well, our sister works for Amazon.
I know.
So, and she's one of the most, and I can say this, and I'd say this to her face, she's a very high-strung person.
Oh, yeah.
And she acts like her job is the most stressful job in the world. Well, fuck, maybe it is. I mean, this guy's saying you should wake up every morning scared. And I'm like, wow, maybe, whoa, she's not being dramatic.
He's like doing fake shootings and stuff. Be afraid! You're like, is my foot handcuffed to the table? Gotcha! I'll unlock that. Sorry about that.
LOL.
Yeah, LOL.
Give everybody their daily pee bottle. Come on.
Oh, that was a joke
a
joke last hour. Sorry, guys. The pee bottles, like he actually slowly does those. But
I mean,
those are the people that control our enterprises and the trickle-down economy.
I
hate it.
It's funny what he's doing. It's like these small companies try to put their product on the internet, and you can't do that without putting it like through Amazon because it's so fucking like spread out, dude. It's such a monopoly.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
It's fucking scary. So small companies like put their product on Amazon, or Amazon sees that their sales are doing good, and so they like reverse engineer whatever they're making and start selling it on Amazon for $3 less.
Yeah,
like iPhone chargers. Like they have the iPhone charger, which is what, $17.99, whatever it is, and then they have like the Amazon product charger, which is like $14.99.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, right.
And it does the same fucking shit. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's what they're doing. That's kind of
sneaky.
And what's
sneaky fuck.
And what sucks about that is like, so looking back to like, the guy, being a writer and kind of creating more of himself, we were able to do that because there wasn't as many monopolies on a lot of what the free market is. So if you think about like the $22 million or whatever, like there's enough money going around through all these companies out. We could all live super comfortable, beautiful lives, have 6-week vacations like some European countries, 30 hours is full time. Like we have the money in our system to
accommodate that.
To accommodate that.
Leave.
What did you say? Alternative leave?
Alternative.
I said maternity.
Oh, maternity. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was trying. Okay.
Paternity.
And the dad too. And it's like, and those.
Why not?
And
that's
why
like
not?
The most fucking important 6 months in your kid's life that you should be around.
Right, man. And the parts that shape them. Because anybody with trauma, you trace that back to the kids. Something fucking happened to them almost all the time is when they were a kid. And the more and more is like when Celine Dion's now in charge of your kid because both the parents are at work. And she's dressing him in new world order shit and showing him some VR bullshit. Like what?
The whole trickle down. I mean, and those people that are making that high amount of money are the reason why prices for everything have increased. But then I hate to say, but like, I don't want to call you little because we're not small people. But the people at the bottom or whatever you want to say, middle class, that doesn't really exist. The non-gendered class. Yeah, the non-gendered, not low income, but average income, whatever. Then we're having to be suffocated by these high rising prices by these people that are making astronomical amount of money, but yet our salaries aren't increasing at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what irritates me beyond anything is the fact that, like, I mean, I'm a grown person and really, like, I could not live without some support.
Yeah, and you're
mom and dad.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, I could not live, I mean, even just, like, simple meals at home or, like, mom will, like, throw me a 20 or whatever. Like, I could not survive without that unless I forever will have roommates and not ever be able to live alone. I'll never be able to buy a home. Like, unless I
that's what sucks though. It's
and
like
it shouldn't be that way.
Right. Well, not only just from that sake of being comfortable, it's like from the sake of us expanding ourselves as like humans, because of the riders, like that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. I'm fortunate that I've kind of like been really stern with trying to get a certain schedule so I can exercise because that's really important to my brain, like so I can write, so I can do this, like these are all things of expanding myself that like I want to continue to do. And a lot of people, like you said, like aren't fortunate enough to be able to do that. Yeah. And then why do you think like people are fucking shooting up places or on fucking high stress levels or just taking a pill to cope with anything? It's like because we're not buying local, we're outsourcing everything and stripping away community just so fucking fat cats up top can be comfortable.
Chill. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's I mean, even with the shootings thing, like there's 3 shootings on Monday.
Yeah.
It's like
5 people died or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Chicago hospital. Like what a monster who shoots about. Which is also crazy because I was like, okay, well, first the 3: Chicago hospital, Denver, and St. Louis were the 3 shootings.
So I'm on.
Okay,
sorry,
Chicago hospital.
I saw that.
1 police officer, 2 hospital workers. Denver, 1 dead, 4 injured outside of Coors Field. St. Louis, a man sexually assaulted a girl and then went to some religious supply store and killed somebody. He's still on the run. So 3.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So 3 shootings.
Outside of Coors
day.
Field, really. So downtown, that's scary. Wow.
Or outside of Chicago. Can you imagine a shooting in Chicago? I mean, that's crazy.
Who would have thought?
But that was what I first thought. I was like, well, 3 shootings in one day. I was like, yeah. But
that's normal.
I was isn't it though?
No, I mean it is.
Well, that's what
it shouldn't be, but it is.
So I looked it up, and it's 96 people die from gun violence every day, and 246 are injured. So why is the headline that there was 3 shootings? Because they were undirected towards people, and they were like random.
Well, at this point, we really only, unfortunately, talk about mass shootings in national news. Like I only saw the Chicago one because obviously I didn't dig around, or I don't really watch a lot of news to be frank either, but. I think really now we're really talking about mass shootings more when I think they define a mass shooting, which is awful. I don't like this at all. When 4 or more people die, that's considered a mass shooting.
It's like an E. coli breakout.
Yeah, 11 people have been caught with the E. coli.
Yeah. Don't think about the 96 people dying from guns every day. Yeah. E. coli, baby.
So a book that I read this year that I would highly recommend. Okay. It's called Another Day in the Death of America, I want to say is the title of it.
Sounds dark.
It is kind of dark. But basically the writer chose a random date in American history and broke down 9 stories of 9 shootings that happened
that should be your podcast,
on that day.
Picking a random day and just diving into
the shootings. And so basically it was they're written in a perspective, kind of like a narrative of each one of these people ending up to their inevitable death. The youngest one being 9, the oldest one being like 28. 6 of which are African American, 2 of which are Latino, and 1 of which is white. And it's fabulous. It's really eye-opening though. I mean, he really just picked one random day. Yeah. And
is it multiple days? Or is it just one?
I think it was multiple, but he decided to pick the
That's
one.
Really cool, actually.
It was amazing.
It's interesting.
And even just the beginning of the book, like I was hooked because he talks about. He's black and he is originally from the UK and he married an American. Now he lives in the US and he's raising, a young black, his son in America and in this culture.
Are you sure it's his son? I mean,
who's to say?
Yeah, who's to say? That's kind of rude, Jen.
Yeah, sorry.
But anyway, sorry.
He told me. He told me it was his son. I swear.
I'm a good person with a good heart.
I feel like I've defended myself so much. But,
I
don't remember what I was gonna say. But
He's
anyway,
raising his son in this.
yeah, and he was just kind of wanting to talk about gun violence. How does that look when you're a young black teen? And yeah, it's fascinating.
How does it look when you're a young black teen?
The odds statistically not so great. I mean, more black young men die than more white.
Yeah, I wonder what what is the fact?
I don't know the statistics
how would I
on
search,
it.
How would I search for that?
I don't know.
But only kids?
What do you mean?
Only.
Yeah, like if you're looking at teens, like I just talked about the Trayvon Martin ruling with my students a few days ago. And that happened in 2012. And this was not before, but Black Lives Matter and really police brutality was put into the public eye, I guess. Right. That was before that, and it's a young teenage boy who a man felt threatened by, and essentially he was shot.
Was that in Florida? Mm-hmm. That was, yeah. The stand your ground or whatever.
Yeah, it was
however it was justified.
Yeah. And yeah, he got off on essentially feeling threatened, and that's why he shot him. Yeah. But he was unarmed. He was 16 or 17.
So fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, of course we're all scared. We all get scared, right? But, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately as a female. Like and Obama made a huge speech about the ruling and basically was like, I've walked on the street before I was president, before I was a senator, and women locking their doors in their car and people holding their breath on an elevator when they're alone with a black man on the elevator. I mean, we do see a world in a very
fearful state.
Yeah, in a very prejudiced way. And I am not going to sit here and say that I have never not done those things. I mean,
it wasn't too long ago that we were segregated. 50, 60 years.
But is that all fear-based?
The thing is that our DNA is something that's been running through our genetic pool for millions of years. So anything that's happened at some point is still affecting us or some part of the way that we're interacting with the world. Yeah. So it's like, that was the part, it's the same thing with women abuse or shit like that, where it's like it was in TVs and movies, and even with how the LGBT community has been portrayed in movies and stuff isn't accepted now as it was 10 years ago. Or that's nice.
That is
really. I hope that keeps going.
That happens.
That'd be terrible luck. That hasn't actually happened. That was actually quick. Yeah. It does happen.
It does happen a lot in this neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot in all apartment complexes. I think car alarms going off. You know what they should do with car alarms? I don't pitch this idea.
All right, here it is.
It's they're kind of useless because unless you know it's your car and you go out and check, or if you're somewhere, you don't know what to do anything. So why, with all the technology on cars, is it not synced up to your little your fob or something where it's it would vibrate or blink when your car alarm is going off?
I know the nice cars have really fucking nice car fobs.
Yeah.
Like starter keys and that's what
they're called.
Yeah. Fall Out Boy.
Ferraris, Maseratis, all that. Some of those have really, really nice.
Yeah.
And they have even a little screen on there. You can turn it on. You can fucking maneuver.
I drive a Honda. So.
Yeah. Long live.
I love Honda.
It was actually Jen. She told me this before I got here. That hit your car.
You did?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, I was like, I was taken so. I was like, huh? Trust me, I would have told you. I'm a horrible
She would have cried. She would have cried.
I would have been bawling my eyes out. I'm such a pussy. I really am. I cry so easily.
That's cute.
I've been doing that more often.
Yeah, I saw you cry during the podcast a little bit.
Yeah, I've been tearing
Did you?
No.
I was like, I said that like, I was like, oh, really? I was like, what was the...
I'm just like the KBG, man. I'm spreading that fake news everywhere.
Yeah. I never got a chance to watch that.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Was there any interesting takeaways?
Yeah, they found
I guess if you can... What was the article or the video?
It was a video that I just saw that it talked about fake news.
Okay.
And how it started, and they say it was originally started with the KGB, and one of the biggest fake news articles was that the AIDS story, that it was how it came from Africa, this and that or whatever, when it was actually made here. And I don't know, it was just KGB informants from back in the day that come out to light in this interview, and just say all this shit that they put out there, like purposefully.
Yeah.
It's like, and we used to, like, 20% of their day was spent thinking of stories that they can make up on America. Like 20% of a person's
That's
day.
crazy.
Like think of how much.
Wow.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So those ideas and all those they bring back to whoever, and they're like, "Oh, we can do this and we can do that." Yeah, it's really interesting.
I mean, we're got to be doing that in our news too. I mean, we've talked about this a million times,
Yeah.
like the meme factories and like it's
yeah.
people's jobs in other countries to do that, to try to manipulate us.
I guess
like,
it's always been.
I guess it's
always been
back into fake news or with media. It's like that is how news actually is facilitated.
It's scary.
Wah wah wah.
Uplifting.
Well, I got one little news thing in here. We have this little segment that's not really working, that like the notifications will come up when we're live, and then we'll kind of dive into them at the end if they're interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Or if we have anything we can say about it. Chief Justice Roberts defends judiciary. I'm so...
Judiciary, yeah.
Sorry. And rare statement.
After Trump criticism.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Honda.
Yeah, we talked about that too. Like,
Advertisements.
Like the 2 sentences advertisement, 2 sentences advertise. Like that's an article anymore.
Well, and news now too. If you like, even like New York Times, CNN, like whatever, you go online and you read an article. At the very top of the article normally is like either a quick video or just a quick paragraph saying a summary of what the article is about. And so many people just read the summary and they're like, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
I read the article. And they did not.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will post on Facebook and
Or
stuff.
watch the video.
Yeah, or watch, and they'll post on Facebook and say some comment about it, and then people will be like, did you even read the article?
There was a big one on that because that I read and actually saved for this episode, and it was about that Canada, when they legalized marijuana, they paid off all their debt in one day. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did see that.
It was everywhere. A lot of people were
yeah.
posting it and sharing it. Like, see, this is why we need to do this in our country. Like, we got to
Look
move.
at Canada.
And
Yeah.
a quick Google search was like, no, not even close. And I was like, oh. Like, but I believe that. I even like was talking to people this past week, being like, yeah, did you hear that?
Yeah.
And then when I was like doing research to try to actually like, so we're not so fucking out in the ballpark and just throwing out random facts out there, I was like, oh, that's not true at all. Like, they made a shitload of money, and they probably will be on the way to pay off debt. Like, much like Denver, which was awesome. Even when I went there a couple of years ago, right after legalization, paving all the roads, like education, like, you know, putting so much money.
It's changed a lot, though.
What do you mean? Like in a good way or a bad way?
So when I visit Denver, it feels different. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like it's not home anymore. But like downtown Denver feels like dirtier, really.
Oh, yeah.
Dirty. Their homelessness has increased quite a bit. So I don't know if it's just because the cost of living is like astronomical. I mean, the cost of living in Denver, it's not anywhere like near LA, San Diego, Seattle, San Francisco, those places, New York.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Name all the cities.
Pretty much every
metropolitan cities.
Every metropolitan city in the United States.
Pretty sure fucking even, I don't know.
Yeah, the homelessness.
Random city, I couldn't even Minnesota. I'm pretty sure even Minnesota.
Minneapolis is a big city, though.
Well, I know, I'm just mean like, no, I mean like on the scale
All
of
America,
like,
I mean, come on.
I just mean from like Seattle,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, where
dude,
there's
now I'm
tech-
defending myself. My own show, fuck you.
There's this rivalry I wanted this whole time. Jeez.
Don't make me get the hose. Like where anywhere there's like a lot of. I love, like, honestly, it still really is rubbing me the wrong
Remember
way.
I told you that you're like, your face like, what? No.
Honestly, one of my favorite
You and your
songs of all
conspiracy
time.
theories.
It's all about Celine. I love Celine Dion, her Christmas music. I mean, come on.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. I'm lost.
I'm lost too.
Too many chit chats.
I'm lost and hungry.
I'm starving.
Well, I guess then we should put a button on this old guy. Thanks for tuning in, Jen. It was
Thanks for joining us
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I don't know what that was.
iTunes, SoundCloud, check us out.
YouTube.
Give us some rates. YouTube.
Thanks for listening. 6 months, man.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Half a year.
Half a year.
It's longer than any relationship I've ever had.
Ooh.
On a big-
Let's land on that.